Welcome back to the Red Pride Thundercast. I am your host, Nick Thunder Green. And in today is kind of a sad edition. Here are our topics for today. We will recap the mid-state week 9. We will look ahead to this week, the 5A bye week, and we will talk about the IHSA reffing. When that's all the recaps. So let's start with the mid-state week 9 recap. Let's start out with Plainfield and Martinsville. It was a rainy afternoon in Plainfield, Indiana, as the Plainfield Quakers lose to the Martinsville Artesians, and after losing, they do not clinch a share of the Mid-State Conference. The Plainfield Quakers lose 13-6. They gave up 6 points in the second and 7 points in the third. Now let's quickly go over Decatur and Franklin. I'm not gonna even look at the score because I already know the score. Yeah, Franklin just like going into Plainfield did not show up. Franklin, okay, this is gonna be short. Franklin loses 36-0 against the Decatur Central Hawks. So both Martinsville and Decatur have won the share of the Mid-State Conference. And now Mooresville versus Perry Meridian. It was a really surprisingly competitive game. Perry had the 14-12 edge at halftime, but then Perry Meridian did not score again, as Mooresville was able to win 24-12. 24-14. And then the final game, it was a close game indeed. It was Whiteland beating Greenwood 28-24 at Greenwood as well. So now let's talk about the injuries from Plainfield. Jimmy Bowie, he got hurt, I think, during practice last week before the Martinsville game. And it was his knee. He was able to play. We have injury updates on Jacob Lackey. He should be back practicing this Thursday, which is really good. And then Eli Flowers, who got taken to the hospital after the Whiteland game, he was able to play last Friday. He pulled a Bo Polston from Decatur. Let's talk about Bo Polston and what he did. Bo Polston got tackled / sacked. I think he got sacked. He could not feel his legs for 5 minutes, and he was able to play the next week. And then concussion updates. Alex Holsclaw and Aiden Crouch, they will be back playing next week. And next week, it's the first sectional game of the year for the Plainfield Quakers. It's a win or go home. And again, it's now time to talk about the 5A bye week. This week, for the Plainfield Quakers, and I think for the other 5A teams, we have a crazy bye week. Actually, it's actually a calm bye week. The Plainfield Quakers, they have practice tomorrow through Thursday, and that's it. And the next week was back to a normal practice week. If you guys forgot what the sectional pairings are for 5A, for sectional 14 and 15, here they are. Plainfield will be traveling to Decatur, and then, Plainfield will be traveling to Harrison, and then Decatur will be traveling to McCutcheon, both in Lafayette. And then we get to sectional 14. Whiteland will be traveling to Terre Haute North, and the Franklin community will be traveling to. Actually, I don't know. I know they play Terre Haute South. Actually, I don't know like if Franklin's hosting or not. So I'm just gonna say that they are. And then and then for the Plainfield Quakers, if they win against Harrison and Decatur wins, Plainfield has to go to Decatur for the sectional championship. But if Decatur loses to McCutcheon and Plainfield wins, I think Plainfield will be able to host the sectional championship against McCutcheon. And then for regionals, if Plainfield makes regionals, and if either Terre Haute South, Franklin Community, or somehow Terre Haute North make regionals, I think Plainfield would host regionals. But how about this? Whiteland, they could host regionals, and Plainfield would probably have to travel back. Uh, like in, they would probably have to travel back to Whiteland, which is gonna suck. And now, and yeah, and now let's talk about the topic that we need to talk about: the IHSAA reffing. If you are a fan of a team of the IHSAA that has been affected by the refs, you're not alone. Plainfield, they had a close. Plainfield would have won, but they missed a PI call, a pass interference call on Isaiah Miller, and yeah. But then, but if you're but if you are one of the people that are really mad, like at the IHSAA, and want to scream at them, don't be. They need all the help they can get. Don't be mad at them. They are trying their best. They have a official shortage, and there's a lot. And Plainfield's been affected by this, and it's mostly in the lowers. In the lower grades, like freshman and JV teams. But the officials have affected Plainfield's games quite a lot, and there's nothing to do about that. All you just have to do, don't uh, don't argue with them, or you're gonna be thrown out. But that's my thing, man. The refs, they were okay, and all I have to say about the Plainfield Martinsville game is that it was really wet, and the refs affected it at the end of it. But that's all I have to say. And I can't wait to see how this season moves forward. As after the bye week, as next week we will look forward to the first sectional pairing for 13 and 14, and take a look back like at like at the class of 1A, 2A, and 3A and 4A as they have their first games this week, this Friday night. Thank you for listening to the Red Pride Thundercast. I am your host, Nick Thunder Green. And if you remember, please like and subscribe here on the YouTube channel Crazy Sports Kid, as this will be uploaded to Crazy Sports Kid as soon as we can upload it. And yeah. And if you remember, let's go Quakers.